Hey everybody, Sean Tierney here from the Automation Blog and School. And in this episode of the Automation Podcast, I sit down with Leah from Global American to look at their unique line of industrial computers. Leah, thank you for coming on the Automation Podcast. I'm really looking forward to learning about Global American and your products. I saw your Boxer ad over at theautomationblog.com, and I was like, this looks like some cool tech. So if you don't mind, please introduce yourself to our audience and then tell us about these great products you have.
Awesome. Thanks, Sean. Thanks for having me on. And I'm so glad that the Boxer attracted your attention. And we've gotten a lot of feedback about that particular system. I'm excited to tell you about it. But I'd like to jump in first and kind of show you an agenda. And I picked out some other really interesting products I was going to talk about in addition to the Boxer. And then I thought I'd give you and your listeners a little overview about what Global American is and what we do in general. So I'll just start here, and I'll do this quickly because I know everyone's interested in looking at the products, but we've been around for 32 years. We're located in New Hampshire, and we are a certified minority-owned business, which is really interesting for a lot of companies in the sector. Privately owned, and we have a large space, so we can handle any kind of large order quantities. We do integration. So what we've been doing for so many years in multiple different markets and across a lot of different applications and sectors is a service, and we sell a product. So years ago, in 1989, the product was mostly big 4U, 6U, slotted SBCs with ISA slots and socket 7 Intel processors. We go back that far, and it's changed a lot in the 32 years we've been doing it. The company was founded on the premise that, there's a lot of computers on the market. You can go to Best Buy, you can call Dell up, but what we do is we will sell our customers in all different sectors a computer that we can guarantee will be available long life. As you know, in industrial automation and medical and all sorts of other sectors, you have software that's specifically written around the hardware for drivers and sockets and chipsets. And when something changes, even just a little thing on those on the PCB, it can throw a big wrench into the software. And software is a lot more expensive than hardware a lot of times. So we guarantee to our customers that we're going to keep their product viable and available for 7 to 15 years. And we still have a lot of customers using ISA. And so that's something that we can still provide and that we keep consistent. And those industrial computers, as they call them now, or embedded computers, have changed a lot in 32 years. We've gone from, like I said, the 4U, 6U computers, and now it's the smallest you can get with the most power and fanless. So we've certainly seen things change a lot. And in addition to selling computers like the Boxer that you saw, we also have a full line of different products. We have a lot of customers who just buy motherboards from us or little peripherals like networking cards. So we kind of run the gamut on you need it and it's in the embedded field, we can provide it.
Nice.
And then in addition to providing the PC, we offer a whole slew of services, which is what makes us really, I think, different. You're not just going to call us up and order a board. We will integrate it with processor memory. We can design chassis. We can load and image software for you. We can consult on OEMs and brand and label. We provide testing and certification options. We're in the US, which is very nice. And a lot of our customers get to bypass having to deal with Taiwan or China, which a lot of the product comes from. And we manage the life cycle. So as I mentioned, we have a 7 to 15 year life span on all the products that we sell. But unfortunately, sometimes things change. Intel discontinues a chipset and something has to change. We keep our customers completely in the know from the beginning when we find out that the change is happening to perhaps last time buys or qualifying new products. So it's never a surprise to our customers when all of a sudden something changes. They've had notice and we manage the whole process for them.
Great. Yeah, that's so needed.
It's needed, yeah, because I think it's really for a lot of companies in the sector, they it takes a long time to qualify product. So it could take a year to push something through and do all the testing and certifications. And if you don't have the time to do that, and your product line's down.
And sometimes it's just cheaper to buy some spares when it's a
Yeah.
last time buy than to try to
Yeah.
re-engineer the system.
Yeah, which a lot of people do. A lot of people do that because it's very expensive to re-engineer the system, and really software has gotten very, very expensive to write if you're paying a software engineer to develop your whole program, and it's proprietary and it has to be on that certain hardware. I mean, and you want it for 15 years, you make a last time buy of it, and that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for me on global or anything? If not, I'll just jump right into the products.
No, that's great.
Awesome. Okay, so I was going to start talking about the Boxer 6641, and I'm going to use our website to walk through this a little bit. I think we get a lot of interest in this because it's blue, which a lot of you don't see a lot of embedded computers out there that are colored. They're usually black or silver, and so this has really attracted a lot of attention. Plus, it's very rich. IO wise, it offers a lot of options, and it's one of the newest generations from Intel, which is their 8th generation socket 1151. And what's so great about this is first of all, it has a wide range power input. So we're looking at a DC input 10 to 35 volts, which more and more people in the industrial sector want the larger voltage for whatever they're using it for. And these also have all of the products I'm going to walk through are wider temperature range than anything that you could just walk into a store and buy. So they've been tested for vibration and shock. The temperatures go up to, we can see right here, 131 degrees Fahrenheit. So a lot of times these might be sitting on a hot shop floor or behind something where there's not a lot of airflow. So it's really helpful to have the wide temperature. The fins on this act as it's a heat sink itself. So it will get hot to the touch, but it just means it's dissipating the heat. And it was designed to do that. So this, something interesting and very, I think, relevant for the automation sector are the COM ports. And this one has 6 COM ports, which is really kind of unique. You don't see that a lot on they take up a lot of space, COM ports, and this happens to have 6 of them. It has 4 LAN, which also, in industrial computers, we usually see at least 2 LAN on all our computers, but this one has 4, very rich with USB. And also with this 8th generation, it allows for dual displays. So this has dual HDMI on it, which makes it a really unique product.
That's nice. Look at all those ports. For those listening to the podcast, there's just tons of Ethernet ports, HDMI ports, USB 3.0 ports. It's just pretty amazing. It's all crammed into that form factor.
Yes. So you can see here on the back, all 6 of the COM.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And the HDMI on the back, and then, or the front. It's hard to tell which side is which, right? But, and then here, all the USB and the LAN antennas, and it's an amazing product. We've sold a lot of these. If if anyone's interested in this, you can come right to our website here. You can configure it however you want. You get a lot of different choices for processors from the Core i7 all the way down to the Xeon.
What
It
about
is.
operating
Yep.
systems? I think that may be something.
Yep.
So this is
So it's
Windows 10.
Windows 10. We're not really going to go back on this generation until much. You're not going to be able to get 8 or 7 on it. But Windows 10 and also Windows 10 IoT, which more and more people are going with.
Hmm. Hmm.
So and we can load that on there for you. And if you go with IoT, we can image however the Windows IoT is written specifically for your software, we can just image that on.
For those who have an older operating system, I'm just throwing this out there,
Yeah.
unrelated to this product. I use a VMware a lot with serial ports and Ethernet ports and USB and all that. So that is definitely an option if you had an old system. Just know, and that's probably a separate discussion about virtualization, but you can definitely run older operating systems on Windows 10 Pro using a virtualization software like VMware.
Yeah. Well, as you know, I mean, Windows 7 XP, we still have customers looking for them, but obviously Microsoft isn't supporting them anymore, and they're really opened up for online threats if you're using them.
Yeah, and on many platforms, there's no online access wisely, and
Hmm.
the cost to migrate those old packages is just,
Oh
as
yeah.
as we talked about earlier, software is just it's astronomical.
Yeah, yeah, it's really expensive. So yeah, so back to, customizing it, and here it makes it really easy. You can see all the options, not limited to what's here. If you wanted a larger SSD, that's all something we can do. And for every system, what we also do is, before any of our customers receive a system from us, we put everything through a full test, stress, and burn-in for 24 hours. So every system that leaves here goes through a thorough QC check, is tested, it's run. There's no DOAs, and very, very few RMAs. It's just, they're very robust systems, and we make sure that they're tested to the hilt before they go. So it's very ultra reliable.
Nice.
So this is the Boxer. Any questions, Sean, on this, or?
No, I think you covered it all. Looks great.
Okay. And it is really great, because a lot of times these are, just to add, these are going sometimes in vehicles, or in places, in planes, where there might be some vibration, and these are also highly tested for vibration. So it's a really safe, really reliable computer to go with.
Nice.
Okay. All right. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about this series of computers that we have, the Cubex. And they kind of run the gamut here. You're going from a Pentium J505 processor, which is probably along the lines of what everyone thought an old, the Atom computers were. And atoms aren't the atoms that you used to know anymore. They're much more powerful and faster, with more cores. And this is one of the newer ones. And then the series goes all the way up to a Core i5, newest generation. So I'm just going to show you guys a little bit about the 3 of these, and walk you through. These again are very rich, IO rich, which is great. Here again, you can see this little tiny computer, and you have 3 comms right there on the side. See it? And which is amazing. And this is, I mean, you just don't get this many COM ports on commercial or consumer products nowadays, and they're really important for the embedded sector. So here you have the Pentium processor. This one only has 1 LAN, but something that's interesting about these is they're very rich with M.2 interfaces, and that allow you to do a whole bunch nowadays. And and it ranges from, I have a little bit here on them. And I don't know, are you familiar with M.2?
Yes, but some of the
Yeah.
listeners may not be.
Yeah. So it's a module. It has 75 pins, and you can use it for anything, for LAN, for extra USB. It can be a storage device. It can be a wireless device. It can basically, you want to do it, you want to add something to your PC, you can basically do it with an M.2. And it's very versatile because you can, what they do is they're small, and you can, on the PCs, they're removing pins, and each pin number means something different. And it can get a little confusing because there's a lot of different ones. And I did a quick little overview here, so your listeners might better understand as I'm talking through the different kind of M.2 keys on the Cubic series, that they all do different things. So some of them, as you can see here, the M key, if you see M.2 M, it's for an SSD connection. And it's really good. It's leveraging the PCI Express lanes, so it's a fast connection as opposed to the SATA. And the B key, these were standard SATA connections, hard drives. Um, you can some of them have both B and M. Some of them have B, M, A, and E. And with A and E, you're going to use Wi-Fi cards and add extra USB connections. And so when you go back and you see you see the keys here, you are going to know exactly what you can put on for what you can add on to the computer. So we spell it out on our website as well, so everyone knows. But these have, as you can see, we have an M key on these, an E key, and a B key. So there's a lot of options for expansion on this.
That's good that you spell that out. And just a tech tip for the listeners, of course, if you're building a new computer today, you want your SATA drive to be that M2.M or M2M key style, because that'll be substantially faster than just getting a SATA, 2.5 inch SSD.
Exactly. Yep. And so, yeah, we do spell it out. And this is the important thing about this, is it's a tiny computer. So you might not have everything that you want on the IO. And what's great about the M.2 is it makes the computer more versatile. You can add and remove things as you need to.
Nice.
Yeah. So, here again on the front IO, we have two LAN, USB 3.0, 2.0. You have an HDMI and a display port on here. So you can do with the display port, you can do the VGA, you can add an extra HDMI, and we sell adapters for that too. COM ports, headphone jack. We have GPIO here, and this one is available DIN rail mount. So
Nice.
Again, it can be placed in a high humidity, warm area. It has wide temperature range, and it's been tested for vibration and shock.
And I should point out too, I'm looking for those who are listening, the COM ports here on this particular model support 232, 422, and
Yes.
485, which is typically, those are you're going to use one of those three, typically 232 or 485, but really old
Mhm.
products use 422 quite a bit.
Yeah, exactly. So that's this Cubix, and then I'm gonna go over here and talk about the Core i5 version again. Just like the Boxer and the other Cubix series we've been looking at, the fins on here serve as a heat sink. So it is going to get hot, but it's dissipating the heat. And like with all of our products, you have options here that you can configure it the way you want. This one has an onboard processor, so it's soldered on the board. It's not socketed, so you can't really switch out what processor you want on this. It comes with the Core i5 8265U, so it's an ultra low voltage Core i5, and it's system on chip, so it's soldered on board.
Eighth gen, right?
Yes, yep, 8th gen. Thank you. And again here, like the other very rich in I/O for such a little computer. You have two HDMI's right there. You have your two LAN, um, a lot of a lot of different USBs, and this one has the wide range DC input as well, 9 to 36 volts right there.
Mhm.
And again, shock, vibration tested. And like all of these, they have integrated graphics. So the important thing is that, and most of all of our computers, you're not going to need to add a video card. There's no space for them. So you have the Intel UHD graphics on board.
Now, I notice this one has the IoT version of Windows 10. Can you, just for the audience, talk about any limitations from the user side on what they're going to be able to install on Windows 10 IoT versus regular Windows 10?
Well, with the regular Windows 10, you're loading the whole entire operating system. And as most people know, there's a lot of junk in there that you necessarily don't need or won't use. So what's really great about the Windows IoT is it's more of a custom. You buy a license, you download it, and then it does involve a little upfront work. You're going to need to customize it, load the drivers. So say, you're only using one of the LAN, or you're not using the HDMI, or you don't need necessarily to have everything loaded into that OS to write an image. So you just make an image based on only what you're using, which makes it faster, doesn't take up as much space and storage. And especially if it's interfacing with the customer, you're not putting a lot of information out there on the PC that isn't needed.
And you pre-install that on your systems?
Yes. Well, we will pre-install it. With Windows IoT, what we would normally do is the customer likes to customize their IoT the way they're going to have it used.
Okay.
So they'll basically, usually send one PC. They do their image, their IoT image, and then they send it to us, and then we load it on all future orders, and we do that at no additional cost.
Awesome.
I think that's these three Cubic systems, and I don't know if I touched on this one as much, but again, not as robust as far as speed. It's a little slower, but you're going to see this one have a lower cost and price point because of the Pentium processor.
Yeah. Now, if somebody wants, I know for those viewing, they can see the URL to your website and where you're just showing these products. But for those listening on the podcast, can you tell them what your website is?
Oh yeah, happily. It's www.globalamericaninc.com.
And it's a very user-friendly website. You just go to products, you'll see all the different products.
Yes. So yeah, that we have all our products, and if you're not sure, we also talk about the different markets. So if you want to look at some of our products that might be in the industrial automation sector, you can just click on that, and it takes you to some of our other products that are in that field. Same thing with all the other markets that we represent. And as well, it's very easy to interact with us. We have a chat. We have a place where you can just send some questions in. We're really quick to respond. And we're the experts at this. Been doing it for a long time.
So I mean, for the listeners and viewers out there, if you are, having problems finding what you need, it looks like you can definitely contact Leah and her team over at Global American, and they may have a solution. I mean, you can definitely see from what we've talked about so far that serial ports and multiple HDMI and Ethernet and USB 3.0, none of that's an issue for them. So definitely, again, what drew me to them was the ad for the Boxer, which is definitely looks really, really, really new and fancy. But they do a lot of legacy stuff too, from what you were just saying. So
right,
definitely
tablets and
yep.
panel PCs, and not everything's fanless either. Sometimes customers just want an actively cooled system. A lot of times, Sean, what's funny is it's amazing how many, you don't find exactly what you want. And it's so hard nowadays when you go on, you're on Google, you're here, and there's so many offerings out there that, we have a lot of just conversation with our customers. Like, they call up and they said, I need to accomplish this, and I need to have, I need a PCI slot, and I need it to have, 32 gigs of memory, and I need this and this and this. And then we kind of, we design it, we put it together, we find it, and we do all that background work. Any questions for me?
No, I really want to thank you for coming on the show and telling us about your company and the
Thank
products you
you.
make, and really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate it.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode. I know I did. And I want to thank Leah for coming on the show and telling us all about the very unique line of industrial computers offered by Global American. That said, if you're watching on YouTube or theautomationblog.com, please consider giving us a like and a sub there. And if you're listening to the audio-only edition on iTunes or Google, Spotify, Pandora, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, or somewhere else, please consider subscribing and giving us a 5-star review there. That really helps us grow the audience and find new vendors to come on the show. And I really want to thank those of you who already did that. Some of you have already done that, and thank you so much. I really appreciate it. With that said, if you want to follow me, you can do so over at automation.locals.com. And I just want to wish you all a very happy, safe, and healthy week. And until next time, my friends, peace.